The learning goals of this module are to understand that the cycle of phases of the moon are due to its orbit around the Earth, to be able to predict phases and rise set times of the moon, to be able to describe and explain field rotation, and to be able to describe and explain how the size of the lunar disk and librations arise from the eccentricity of the moon's orbit. The width of your little finger at arm's length is about 1 degree. The moon is about half a degree in the sky. It is a large object in the sky. We can deduce much about the moon's orbit by observing it over the period of a year. Discrimination is a word that is used colloquially to mean an unjust treatment of people based on some category or subgroup to which they belong. For example, their gender, ethnicity, orientation, age, and many other characteristics that are wrongfully used to render prejudicial treatment. Discrimination in this sense is wrong and often unlawful. People rationalize their improper discrimination of others on the basis of differences they observe that are unrelated to what they are offering, such as a business relationship. Statisticians and scientists, however, use the word discriminate to mean recognition and understanding of the difference between one thing and another. Scientists characterize entities, then develop a classification system or taxonomy based on those characteristics. When we interpret what we see in everyday life, we use a number of cues that let us discriminate what this subgroup and object is, and then identify exactly what object it is. This picture shows how complicated that can be for our vision system. Everyday experiences let us discriminate a chair from other furniture or objects around them in spite of the many variations that chairs may have, the unusual angles they may be oriented in, particular or partial obscuration of the chairs, and variations in illumination. We need to remember how our vision sorts through these differences and yet still enables us to navigate the everyday world when we look at the sky and interpret what we see. And in science, discrimination is not a bad word. It is part of multivariate discriminant analysis. The elements of vision are listed here with the most important, contrast and brightness, being at the top. Note the way our vision system works can deceive us when it comes to interpreting brightness. The squares of A and B appear to have different brightnesses because B is being seen in the shadow, when making visual observations, it is important to recognize that our system is not infallible. Some psychological issues interfere with our vision system. For example, prosopagnosia is the inability to recognize the faces of familiar people, and object agnosia is the inability to interpret sensations and hence to recognize things. The moon illusion is an optical illusion which causes the moon to appear larger near the horizon than it appears higher up in the sky. The explanation is still debated, but it is generally believed to be one of context and psychological biases. It's also important to remember physical reasons for changes in apparent size and brightness of an object. These include distance to the object, the